I'm gonna do the Rumble thing first. Hello, everyone. It's good to be back. If you're here, if you're not here, you can go fuck yourself. And now, because I cursed, we just got kicked off of every platform. Can you hear me, Ryan?
What if technically the show didn't start yet?
It did.
I know, but like technically it didn't.
No, and I don't even know if we're live on Rumble. What's going on here, Rumble? You're not doing the Rumble.
Rumble.
It says upcoming, but it doesn't say we're live. What?
Coming up.
The
Coming
fuck?
up. This
Yeah, Rumble's been giving us
thumbnail's awesome.
problems.
This thumbnail's fucking hilarious.
View on Rumble. Let's see if I can view on Rumble. Yeah, it's so weird. We might have to give up on Rumble. It's just not where it should be.
So what's the problem? Is it an inferior platform, or is it just
I don't know.
Like
Oh, that's right. I gotta do that. We're back, guys. We are back. Cheers, everybody. Hope you got it. What the hell is that right there? A minute? That was bad.
And
wait, where are we? Why are we here? This is so weird.
I would take a look at this awesome, hilarious thumbnail. And
it shouldn't be like this. What's going on?
They can hear us, but they can't see us, Mike.
Yeah, this is weird. I have no control over the background.
Have we been gone so long we've just turned into ghosts? It's just a no visual podcast. What if we just did vocal commentary over just all the videos that we watch?
I'm actually really confused here because there's no. I see us. I can see us, but why?
But why can't they see us?
I don't know. Hold on. Okay,
There we
that was
go.
weird. But I don't want an overlay. I don't want this. I just want a background. This is the background. Okay,
Ooh, trippy.
go away. See, that was weird. I got rid of the back. Okay, I I got rid of the screen and I deleted it so it should go away, but it didn't go away even though it was deleted. Anyway, welcome to Dumb Panel Dipshits Podcast. We are back,
We're back.
sort of.
Yeah, no, we mean sort of. I mean, we
Sort of.
took a little bit of a 2.5 month hiatus.
It felt like so much longer. It really did. It felt like a year.
Well, our last episode was in November, right?
I don't know. I can tell you right now, though. Hold on. Our last
So what does this make? This season 5?
Season 5, episode 1. Our last episode was November 19th. And it is February 4th. And a lot of shit has happened in the world. A lot of shit has happened in
A
the world.
lot of shit. Well, there was Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? And then fucking the government came back on because it was shut down. You remember it was shut down?
Yes.
Now it's partially shut down again.
Is it
And
partially shut down or they finally...
Well, they were also threatening it too, which is exactly what I said. I said, like, yo, they're only going to come to terms just so they could, celebrate Christmas. And then once the holidays are over, it was going to be back to business again. Well, back to business. Finally, all of the Epstein files drop.
Well, it's not all I thought. I thought it's still not all of them.
Well, it's supposed to be all, and a lot of it is redacted and or was deleted. But the thing is, a lot of shit was released and then deleted later, but whatever was released, everybody has seen. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I mean,
most of the Trump shit, there's a bunch of Trump shit that was deleted.
it's deleted or redacted because it has his name on a bunch of things, but they just don't show like the person they're talking
That's
about.
redacted. I mean, deleted outright to where it's just a whole sheets of paper are gone.
Really?
Yes, whole pages. And but are you surprised? I'm not surprised. Are we surprised by the names? Honestly, all you out there, like, are you surprised? Like, because the thing is, like, I'm not surprised. Like, because we knew these have been names that me and you have been talking about for like 7 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still surprised. God damn it, this thing sucks.
What surprises you the most? Out of all the
Elon Musk.
because technically, I guess if all that shit is true, he's full of shit.
Well, is he though? Okay. What I got from I didn't dig deep into how many times he was mentioned, but the main thing that they put out was when it was like I think Jizzleface emailing Epstein saying, "Oh, Elon wants to know when it's season for the island again."
Yes, and they asked him if he was going to be traveling there by helicopter, as if they were expecting him. So
no, they were discussing that they don't want him there. They said he wasn't. He was too much of a nerd. They said he was a dork. They don't want him there, which I think is funny.
yeah, but there's other things that say that he was planning on going there, like, and that he may have
We'll
actually gone there. But that doesn't surprise me either. I mean, everybody else who said that, like, oh, I have nothing to do with that. I wasn't on that. I had, blah, blah, blah. I feel like sort of, is like, oh, well, of course you're going to fucking lie about it. Well, and then we have the most obvious one, Bill Gates, right?
Yeah.
Who actually, he had to come out and apologize recently, right?
Yes. Well, the interesting thing about his emails is that he asked Epstein for a way to secretly give his wife antibiotics because he might have given an STD from the Russian hookers he was banging.
Oh my God!
Now the question is, you're a billionaire and you're like a science nerd too now. You computer shit, and now you're a science nerd and you vaccines and all this shit, and you didn't know to wear rubber or actually get the person tested. Are you fucking kidding me? You're a billionaire.
I'm supposing that they pay extra for the no condom.
Yes, but you could still pay extra for testing.
That's true. But let's just say that he was under the assumption, and let's just say that was part of the compromise. Let's just say, like, he's like, hey, Jeff, like, these girls are clean, right? You tested them? Yeah, I tested them. Go for it. You know what I mean? He goes for it.
I was in that last night. It seemed good to me.
Yeah, he catches, he starts pissing fucking fire, and then he's like, oh, damn, I got a fucking stid. And then, haha, gotcha. You know what I mean? It just seems like the sort of an assets prank. Let's just put it that way.
So we have this. I didn't know this.
First clip.
We were on the Epstein list.
Oh, but yeah, Jay and Lewis, not me. Wow. This is an email from Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
No, it's two.
It's to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh,
And it says, would you want to go? Look who's on the 1030 show. Louis J. Gomez and Jay Okerson.
They
For
invited
the record,
Epstein
they asked me to do that show, and I said, not if Jeffrey Epstein's going to be here.
I would love to know if he actually came to the show.
He probably did. Probably.
And there's a chance that we perform for Jeffrey Epstein, which is hilarious.
Listen, I'm not saying he definitely came. We have no way of knowing that. But I just feel on some level, like at one of those parties, Jeffrey Epstein himself would have been like, I really like that Louis J. Gomez guy.
Idea guy.
He
little
got
lofty.
it.
Sometimes lofty.
He gets it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He gets it.
A man with a similar mindset. I like it.
We were on the Epstein list.
So, that's another thing, too. It's just like, I was saying before the podcast, like, everybody's saying, like, oh, this person's on the list, this person's on the list. And it's like, the list was supposed to be the flight log.
The list was originally the flight log.
Flight log and people who've been to the island was the list.
And the flight log, complete flight log, hasn't been released yet. There's a lot of it that got released through WikiLeaks
right,
a long time ago, but
the
majority of it hasn't been released yet. But I don't even call it the Epstein list anymore. I call it the Epstein files because
it's the files. Yeah.
The JFK files.
And nobody's on the list; they're just mentioned in the files.
Yes.
Right.
And
so that's another thing. It's like, I love the bit that they have going on here with this. It's hilarious, right? But that's like the fate of a lot of entertainers who, like I said, were just mentioned. They mentioned that I doubt that was a mention. Somebody sent the flyer to Jeffrey Epstein and said, these are the shows that are at the Comedy Cellar tonight. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Well, it looked like they emailed him and invited him personally, probably just to fuck around.
Maybe, but there was
also... They said it. This is an email from...
That's the 10:30 show, but they didn't show you what the 12:30 show was, and the 12:30 show was a whole other set of comedians. You know what I mean? That, were performing that night, too, after the 10:30 show. So the 10:30 show was like the younger comics, and then the more established comics would go on at 12:30, and there were... In that email, like if you look at that email, there's 3 separate flyers. There's one for the 7:30 show, there's one for the 10:30, and one for the 12:30. You know what I mean? So there is like other big comedians that are mentioned on that same email. And now, and we were saying also before the pod, Jon Stewart, right? Jon Stewart had to come out and like he joked about it on the Daily Show, but he was just mentioned because somebody was looking into getting him to perform somewhere. You know what I mean?
I think it was both Epstein and Epstein and I don't remember who, but they were talking about a comedian that'd be good for the audience that they were trying to cater to.
Right.
And then it wasn't just Jon Stewart. It was like a list of I think 3 or 4 of them. And
right.
Jon Stewart was on the list, and I forgot. I recognize the other names, and now I'm forgetting who it was. But then I saw an email or information about. Well, it's in the next video we're gonna watch, so I might as well just play that video. It's another Epstein video, and it's a link. It's not really a link. I just say it's a coincidence. And I knew this was gonna happen regarding Joe Rogan. I knew this was gonna happen when Brett Weinstein said years ago. This was like 2021 or right.
Yeah, and he said he was part of a group. He was part of a group of scientists.
He said this guy always. It seemed like he was purposely going out of his way to meet everyone he could possibly meet, who might have power or might have intelligence and might have anything. And he's like, I met him with a group of scientists, and I knew right away he wasn't as smart as we were. He's like, not to sound like but like you can tell. And even listening to him talk, he sounds like a Jew from Brooklyn.
He is.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, hi, we're from Brooklyn. I've worked in Borough Park. I'm not saying anything bad or negative to it, but I'm saying that's what he sounds like. And it's kind of scary when you hear him talk. It's like, oh, shit, he sounds like fucking...
a neighborhood guy.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. But so I found this video, and I like this channel. It's called American Redact. There's a few channels like this one I watch that are also, but what does bother me, I'm not gonna say that because I'd be a fucking hypocrite. Never mind. I'll say
What?
I was gonna say it bothers me when people like use Joe Rogan to try to get the views by reacting to his stuff, but I'm like, but that's what
Right.
we do. We react to other people's stuff, so I can't say that. I'd be a fucking
Yeah.
hypocrite.
Well, I'm not watching this to react as much as I am to like just like just and I'm curious about what the public is saying. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
So it's like
he's not
I'm
public, but he's
yeah, no. But what the public is saying about Joe Rogan is what I'm saying, and like what they're saying, presumably about like who he's associated with and or had on the show. Correct? Like as a guest.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, I start sitting better. I'm sitting up here all like tight instead of like.
Yeah, but I'm like curious. Like you're allowed to be curious, and we're allowed to pique everybody else's curiosity by doing that. And however we react is how we react.
Here's a deeper point, man. I don't mean to do this every time I'm
He's on the Epstein list.
on, but
Duncan
you
Trussell's on the Epstein list.
such a crazy power that if you're not careful, folks from deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit because people are gonna like try to exploit you. That's the main thing, is like people recognizing what you are, who have political agendas, will infiltrate your shit and then start blowing out their radioactivity into the world, right? That's a fear.
Like radium, like.
All right, so now that people have had a few days to digest the millions of emails and documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein, it's now starting to appear that Joe Rogan's had a lot of people on his show that are now confirmed to have been closely linked to the predator and criminal himself, which has definitely left a lot of people scratching their heads. I mean, it's one thing to have maybe one or two guys linked to Epstein on his show, but when you realize that Joe Rogan's platformed more than 9 different people and counting at this point, who were named in the files, sometimes thousands of different times.
I was incorrect. Duncan Trussell was not on the list.
Okay.
It all certainly raises more than a few questions. And it's not like anyone's accusing Joe Rogan of secretly going to Epstein's island or anything.
Yes.
But the very fact that he's had so many of these weirdos on his podcast just proves how accurate Duncan Trussell was in the opening clip there. Like all of these creepy billionaires flock to Joe's podcast because they feel a sense of safety and protection with Joe. Not only because he never challenges these guys on anything or even questions their links to Epstein, but also because he's so easily manipulated and will believe just about anything you say to him, especially if you have power over him. Peter T.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
No, I've definitely heard him bite back.
I'm not even talking about the biting back. I don't think they have power over him. I think if he's sometimes he's in a position where he can't call out the bullshit. You can't, like, you know what I mean? Like or you're dealing with so many different topics going by quickly that you're trying to stay on topic and then you forget about something. Like I forgot who they bitched about that he didn't push back on something. And
with Trump, they were like with
Kash
Trump.
Kash Patel.
And Kash Patel, like no, but there's a bunch that he should have pushed back and he didn't. But there are a bunch that like he pushed back at the right moment, and there's a bunch where he's like sort of believe it or not, cutting people off, and I'm like, oh, just let them go. You know what I mean? So it's really a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag.
This is a while ago. This is the old podcast before he moved, when he got into arguments with Steven Crowder, and he got into arguments with what's her name, Candace Owens.
You know, and
but
so
this was back in
it's
the day. This was not recent.
yeah, but it's not unheard of or whatever. And as far as like the 6 degrees of separation, like like kind of situation with anybody who's in entertainment knows somebody or was associated with somebody who is on the Epstein list. Let's just put it that way, right? Anybody who's in politics within that separation, it's not even 6 degrees; it's like 3 degrees. Is somehow involved with somebody who is on the list. You know what I mean? And not knowing that they were on the list, that they would be. And it's like, there's people who are, guilty of criminal activity that I associated with in the past that I had no idea what they were doing. You know what I mean? So it's like it's really not on a fault of a person to have had met somebody or met somebody who met somebody. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
does that make a guilty party? I don't think so. Like,
I actually had
you know,
a very similar debate with you about this topic today.
right?
I was watching another channel, and it's I forgot the name of the channel, and like the guy was just being a fucking, but like it was that it's like just because you associate with someone doesn't mean you necessarily are involved with everything they're involved in or even know what they're involved in. And his
Right.
argument was, well, that's on you for not knowing your friends. And I go, yes, but what if you don't even consider them a friend? On
What
the
if they're just
outside,
What if they're
outside,
just an
people
acquaintance?
looking in
Yeah.
might say, "Oh, look, you guys are friendly," but
Right.
you could be like, "No, I don't really like this guy. He just happens to be an acquaintance or something," you know. So there could always be more to the story, and I hate when people add context to things that aren't there. It's just you can't do that.
But then on the opposite side, it's like that guy Brett Ratner, who did the Melania documentary,
Yes, he also did Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, and a few other movies, right? So he's like seen in a picture, and he's trying to say
he was blackballed from Hollywood for sexual assault allegations. By the way,
yeah, that, and like he's a like pretty much like understandably like possibly a guilty party, like allegedly a guilty party. And there's photos of him like hugging a girl, and then he's like, well, her face is blacked out, but that's my fiance. And then there's like a bunch, and then on the other, like, let's say it's a 3-sided coin, and then on the other side of the coin there's a bunch of AI, like, and photoshops and stuff like that.
Ooh, like the
that are circulating in the internet, like putting people there that are just like, I think the super troll. But like, and I'm pretty sure some people who maybe never been to Epstein Island,
they photoshopped the mayor of New York,
Mom Donnie. So okay, is it true that his mom?
Yes.
Okay, that's true. But all those baby pics
are not real.
and obviously,
like when you see him, he looks like he's like 6 years old or whatever he is in one of the pictures. That's not real,
right? And there's another one where he's like a toddler, like he's like 1.5 or 2 years old
either. But his mother is on the list.
And obviously, the conspiracy theory that tags along with that is that, Epstein is his biological father.
I don't know about that one, but I said I was going to bring this up, and I'll bring it up now since we slowed down on the video for a sec. Is what's also on the emails and all the releases is the reference to pizza.
Right. And so
where did we hear that before? What was that crazy conspiracy that all happened because of Anthony Weiner's dick pics and the emails getting hacked? What was that?
Pizzagate.
Oh, but I thought that was just a crazy conspiracy. I thought Obama was actually ordering 500 or whatever pizzas from.
Well,
four pizzas from Detroit or Chicago, a fresh young age, ready to go in the email or some shit like that.
And obviously it was, like highly, like highly, under the microscope. Not under the microscope. What is the word that I'm looking for? It was on everybody's radar when that psycho went and tried to break into the pizzeria to look in the find the basement or whatever. And obviously, like this is where, the conspiracy theory sort of gets ruined by, like a debunked situation.
I think the pizza place had anything to do with it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And that's been debunked that was ever a fucking place.
Although the guy was a weirdo and had some strange paintings in his fucking business.
Right.
But I don't think it was linked to Epstein or Pizzagate or anything. Like
But I think the pizza thing is just a term. It's a vernacular that's used amongst, like, it leads to order a prostitute. Yeah, it's a code name for a prostitute. Right.
Oh, in this case, it's a code name for underage prostitutes.
Underage prostitutes, yeah.
Just about any.
Oh, and I couldn't confirm this, and it was just a comment, and I was trying to see and search for the confirmation, but, sometimes it's really hard to find it. Someone allegedly said in one of the emails they were justifying it because they said it was these girls are doing it by choice and they're not being forced. They're talking about 13, 14, and 15-year-olds.
Confirming, yeah, that they were in fact trafficking women.
They're talking about you don't. That's not.
Yeah, and it's confirming that they're trafficking these girls, right? These little kids. Yeah, but the thing is, also, you know, like aside from just the pedophilia and the underage girls and the prostitutes and all that stuff, I just feel like because of the sensationalism of it, there's a hyper focus on that, right? And that in fact, you know, like, and I'm not trying to dilute or, you know, like under, you know, mind the severity of those crimes. But what else was going on? You know what I mean? Like, those were crimes that were committed, right, in the process of more nefarious acts. You know what I mean? That could potentially lead to the loss of human life, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, if it's intelligence that could start a war, or it's to start a process to start a war, and you're gathering intelligence for that, and you're you know, like, you're an asset who's gaining like power over these other powerful people in finance, in science, in, you know, in STEM and in politics and in entertainment, and you're compromising them, and then you have this leverage against them to gain leverage. You know what I mean? More leverage and more leverage that could possibly be aimed in sort of like things like war or military coups, or, you know, like just whatever the fuck is happening in like Gaza and Israel right now. And
was there I don't know, a connection between Epstein and Israel in any of these releases? Well, it doesn't seem like it's one single person. It seems like he was a fixer for everybody.
It seems like he was working, like, for example, like double agent. I'm talking triple, quadruple agent. Like, this guy's
he was just
working all the sides. All the sides.
Help him, if he could help you and you're going to pay him, because you got to remember, at one point in time, the owner of Victoria's Secret signed over everything to Epstein, gave him power of attorney over the entire company and everything.
Right. Yeah. And
that could be because he was running a sex trafficking ring. And how can you can't arrest him now for it, because that's the fall guy. Epstein's now the fall guy for it.
Right.
And that could be how he got his start. And he's like, oh, I can keep this shit going.
That's a pretty decent theory. You know, but like, what is it all for? So it's like, let's just say he's like that, like you're saying, and he's an asset to so many other people that he ends up becoming like his own entity that really doesn't have anybody to answer to, because everybody has to answer to him because he has all this information and leverage and blackmail, you know, like material and all that stuff. So, you know, like, if he's working for this, them, that, this, them, and all these other countries to sell information, to compromise people and get paid for it. And then it's like, okay, so let's just say he was working with the Mossad and the CIA and the KGB, right? Because there's also like, you know, insinuations in a lot of these emails that he had ties to Putin. You know what I mean? And that he could get people meetings with Putin. So it's like, you know, if Putin is that easily accessible to him, and like American presidents were easily accessible to him, and these, you know, foreign scientists and, you know, and politicians and you know, and powerful people all around the world all had access to him, then it's like, well, what's the bigger picture then?
Yeah. I mean,
if it's not what we're thinking, where it's us versus them or them versus them, and that's how we see the whole world, is that these two countries are at war, we're at war, people are at war with us, and then it's like, well, what if all these other people who are at war with each other all have this common denominator of compromise? Let's just put it, you know, like, did his operation just sort of snowball out of control? Was that the case?
Some
Or
things
was he directly working for somebody? Was he directly CIA? Was he directly Mossad? Was he like some sort of a hybrid between the both? Like, what's up with that? You know, and that's what I'm interested in. I'm not so much like ignoring the sex trafficking and pedophilia. That is,
you're basically saying it was okay, Ryan.
in my eyes, that is the linchpin that starts this whole fucking reaction. And then what's the bigger explosion after the first pop? You know what I mean? I'm saying there's something bigger than the pedophilia and sex trafficking, right? No? You don't think there's anything big that this is as big as it gets? The Epstein situation is the sex trafficking.
I mean, what are they not releasing? Because I hate when people are like, well, why didn't Biden release it? Why didn't they release it? Why didn't this person release it? It wasn't released because it was still an active investigation.
Yeah, like what was going?
They're not releasing things that are still part of the investigation. They're releasing things that are no longer part of the investigation.
But you could do it yourself though, and I could do it myself, and any of the viewers out there could do it themselves. And just during the time of his operation, so let's just snap a chalk line and start it. You know what I mean? Like in fucking 1995 and stop it in 2005 before the shit really hit the fan for him when he was arrested in Palm Beach and all that shit, right? 2006 was when his party started to become over. You know what I mean? From 2006 to 2019, Epstein had a shitty time with the authorities, even though he seemed to get out of that whole situation by 2009 and tried to get back into operation. It just, he was already too compromised himself, to not get caught again. So now, for 10 years, right, from 95 to 2005, all the world events that had been going on. So let's talk everything from Bosnia to the Iraq War and Afghanistan, right? And you could, see what the dealings were between all these other superpowers and stuff, and then snap your fucking red line, your red yarn, right? Your red thread, and then pull it to somebody who was tied with Epstein. And then you could start really fucking getting into the fucking, like the real shit. And then what that compromise, like, oh, maybe Epstein had shit on this guy. That's why this mysteriously became a fucking thing. Nobody could fucking figure out like what kind of intelligence could have caused this, that, or how they got this information to that information. And I guarantee you somewhere in there, maybe not all, but I'm not saying all roads lead to Epstein, but I'm just saying there's probably a bunch of fucking, world events that you could tie that line to. In that 10-year period of time during his operation.
Is Epstein alive when JFK was shot?
No. I think
because he's so easily manipulated and will believe just about anything you say to him, especially if you have power over him. Peter Thiel, for example, who's a billionaire tech investor and co-founder of Palantir and PayPal, admitted to Joe Rogan that he met Jeffrey Epstein back in 2014, about 8 years after Epstein was initially arrested for all of the despicable and nasty stuff that he did to children.
When someone gets arrested and you meet them years later, there's not a sign on their back that says, "Hey, I was arrested." So like,
no, but everybody knew that about him, though. That was okay. You understand that the circle of billionaires now is like, how many billionaires are there in the world? Something like 3,000. Back then, there were like 300. So it's a small community of billionaires, and he was one of them. So you heard it through the grapevine about this guy. It's not often that a billionaire gets arrested. You understand what I'm saying? So you heard about it. If you were another billionaire, like Bill Gates definitely heard that Epstein got arrested and was like, oh shit, I've done some fucking shit on his island in 2001, 2002, 2003, yada, yada, yada. So obviously...
No, Epstein wasn't a billionaire.
Yes, he was. He became a billionaire.
No, his net worth never went above $440 million.
No. That's bullshit. That mansion, that townhouse alone in fucking, you know what I mean? In New York City was worth like,
yeah, but that wasn't his.
$100 million.
Wasn't that under like the assets of fucking
Lex Wessner?
Yeah,
And he had the mansion also in Texas, right? Or Oklahoma or something like that,
he
right?
had okay. I have a blah, blah, blah. Wow. Okay. He had antiques and jewelry and art worth 10 million. He had one diamond cut ring that was worth 5.4 million. He had a 22.5 million. He had $22.5 million worth of boats, planes, and cars, including 3 private jets and a helicopter.
So the internet says the richest he was because before all of this, maybe that was like inflated, sort of how like
Well, because you
Trump's.
gotta remember, his net worth and his asset, his settle, I don't know the word there, worth would be his, but like when he got power of attorney, he probably did have access to billions at that point.
Access to it. Okay, maybe that's what I'm misinterpreting. However, you know, amongst the billionaires that he courted, right? Let's just say we're a bunch of middle class dudes, and we all live on this cul-de-sac, and we like to secretly get down, and we all have that neighborhood dealer, right? We're probably worth more than that neighborhood dealer. Maybe like guy up the street's worth fucking, his net worth is $102,000. Maybe, my boy up the street this way, his net worth is like 80,000. Maybe mine's like 200,000 or whatever. And maybe this drug dealer dude, he's renting a fucking apartment that's $1,000 apartment, but he's got a nice fucking setup in his apartment. You know what I mean? And he hangs out with us and stuff, and he's got jewelry and shit, and he has the same swag we got, but his net worth is like $5. Like, he doesn't have a bank account. He doesn't have credit. You know what I mean? And then we hear he gets pinched. The whole neighborhood knows that this guy got pinched because we all dealt with him. You understand what I'm saying? So if your supply are these young girls, and you know that this is the guy who gets them, right? What's up, Orthodox guy?
Cheers.
Orthodox guy.
Yes.
What's happening? Orthodox guy. Orthodox what? Orthodox Catholic? Jew?
Let's get back to the video.
Orthodox.
I met
Fighting?
Epstein a few times as well, and
I didn't like the way
I
he started.
think
How'd you get introduced?
Like
it was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us in 2014, but it was basically.
When you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how
like
could
paying
you have known
taxes.
back then? He had never been arrested.
No, this was 2014. It was post trust.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
Which was
it
like
out, bro.
2000.
07, 08.
Okay.
Upon learning this, though, Rogan doesn't even think twice before making excuses for Teal, saying that he knows a lot of people who were tricked by Epstein, instantly letting Teal off the hook.
But I thought he always had good judgment in people.
Mike, can I ask you a question? If you're a billionaire, are you going to, get eyebrows? Won't you just get some eyebrows? Like, get a pair of eyebrows.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Are you gonna if you're a billionaire, you're gonna walk around looking like Frankenstein like that?
Also, I semi disagree with American Redact in this point because Joe Rogan isn't here necessarily to push back on everything and question. He's meeting a billionaire and he wants to hear him. He's not here to go, oh, so you knew you were hanging out with a convicted pedophile.
You're not gonna get them to spew if you push back.
Yeah, he's not.
Eventually, he's gonna dump all the information. People are gonna watch this when all he does is spew on Epstein.
That's not even that, but the audience is gonna do. Oh, wait a second. So he knew he was hanging out with a convicted pedophile. Joe Rogan doesn't need to point it out. He has you right here pointing it out for him. American Redact. It's there. Let the audience. He says it many times. Let the audience make the decision.
And also, I got another question about this, right? Just to throw out into the universe. Like, we know that Prince Andrew was banging these young girls, right? Yeah. And we know that there's a bunch of others that were banging these young girls. Yeah. But was everybody who was banging on Epstein Island banging young girls? Like, wasn't there like some scientist who's like, I'm into grannies, and then Epstein had to go get a pack of grannies to fucking take their dentures out and gum this
Hold on,
scientist's dick or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Wow. I was gonna say, imagine you get invited, right? You're like an up and coming comedian, and somehow by miracle you get invited, and you get there, and you don't know what it's about. You have no idea. And you get there, and you sit down in the chair, and you're like looking around, and you're like, "Oh shit, there's Bill Gates." And then you could imagine what I'm looking at now. And then you start looking around, you realize everything that's going on. And you probably have to be thinking in your head at this point, because they're all rich and powerful. Are you a victim next? Like, why were you invited? What the fuck am I doing here?
That's sort of like that in Eyes Wide Shut when he's just walking down the corridor and he's like, he's like,
about time to hit that old dusty trail.
Yeah, it's about my bedtime, guys. But I'm saying, like, were they all like underage? Now the thing is, does it make it any better if you're trafficking human beings against their will for sex acts?
Say trafficking is bad regardless of the age,
right? So it's just like, I know the hyper focus is on the pedophilia, right?
Hold on. It's bad regardless of the age, and I know it might feel as if it gets less bad the older they get, but that's not true. It's equally as bad.
Yeah, like, let's just say that there were victims. Like, it's like, okay, the underage women and stuff, the women who were underage at the time, and those victims, it's like, that was the spark that started this whole fire, which you got to recognize, and you have to, and you can't not mention it when mentioning everything else. But there were other people. Like, who's to say that there wasn't just pedophilia happening there? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what if there was like some Bohemian Grove shit? What if it was like one of these conspiracy videos that we see of the billionaire's kid talking about how, like, oh, me and daddy went to go kill a baby. We killed the baby. And you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, yeah. And he said it's to face our fear. And, and then he said right before I was about to cut his throat, he says, okay, you don't have to do it now. And I was like, oh, I had to make the decision. But then we killed the baby anyway. And it's like, well, what? What the fuck? I was like, wait, billionaires are fucking taking their children to kill fucking babies too? Like some poor baby that was robbed? So it's like, who's to say that wasn't going on also?
Ryan.
Yeah.
I just want to point out once again who was right all along. Once again,
Alex Jones.
Alex fucking Jones was right again. Like, I was talking to someone at work, and I was like, I have an opinion about everything. I do.
Right.
And my opinion is never what people want to hear. So I don't really like not that I like talking about it, but like, it's like I don't play by the rules of it. You're not going to sway me because everyone else feels a different way, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just going to, and at work I was like, the amount of times Alex Jones was right, it makes me start to question Sandy Hook again.
Wow, that's pretty deep because, I think it was, like, it's been debunked in so many different ways. To revisit Sandy Hook would be a wild move.
Debunking. Hold on. I don't believe no one died.
Okay.
And I don't believe the official narrative. I don't believe a lot of these official narratives of this lone gunman goes to the school and just shooting,
isn't it like any lone gunman situation seems shady, right? Like, it's like, we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. It's like shady.
Some of them make sense. 4 kids,
right.
3 kids were bullied. They continuously got bullied. They had enough. They go and shoot up the school. That, I'm not saying I get that, but that's not as weird as, let me drive to a school out of nowhere after killing my mother, a school that I haven't gone to since I was a little kid, a school that had no other connection except for me going there as a little kid. My mother never worked there. That was a lie. They all said how his mother worked there. No.
Right.
And I used to start shooting up the place. And then the conflicting reports on the day of, they found a gunman in the woods or something, a guy with camo in the woods. It was like a lot of inconsistencies. And he said it was a false flag operation where no one was actually dead, and it was all crisis actors. That's crazy.
Right. That the whole thing was set up, right? Yeah, and that they got thousands of crisis actors.
But
I
think he was fed false information. I think he was fed
false information. Totally, because he was still getting Alex Jones, for all his craziness, was still getting valid information from other sources about other things, but then he was also getting invalid information that I feel they knew. Alex Jones, if he talks about this, he'll talk about this. So if he talks about this, which is completely easily debunkable, then it will make all the rest of the shit that he's talking about look wild and crazy too, and nobody's going to believe him. So for example, like 9/11 conspiracy, Jeffrey Epstein, a Bohemian Grove, like all that shit. And then it's like, oh, well, those things turn out now. Well, we're in 2026, and we know that all that shit is fucking real shit. But there were some things that he was,
Even the making the frogs gay, everyone like quoted him on that, and there's memes and all this shit.
Because he misquoted what it was really, what it really was.
The chemical that was turning them into hermaphrodites.
The phthalates, yeah.
It was fucking with their hormones and turning them into hermaphrodites. He misquoted a little bit, but he's not the smartest person in the room, but he does the research.
No, but he had like a microphone. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's most of the internet is. Me and you, not the smartest guys in the room, but we're gonna get on a fucking, on a pod and talk shit for fucking a couple hours.
I've been watching Alex Jones for a very long time, and I remember I discovered a phrase from him and he's like, the number one killer in the world is democide, death by government. Number one killer. Every time there's a war, it's death by government. Everything that happens inside the country, death by government.
Yeah, and that definitely dwarfs the numbers of plagues and all that shit too. War definitely. Like, I think Genghis Khan, or Genghis Khan, blew up those numbers big. Like, he killed 10% of the world's population.
Changed the carbon footprint of Earth.
Of Earth. So, and no plague has ever done that. No sickness has ever done that.
The plague was bad, but it wasn't.
Spanish flu was bad, but not that bad, right? You know what I mean? So
COVID was bad, but not that bad. It was bad. COVID was bad. Like, hindsight, COVID was bad, but it wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, and they completely handled it wrong. This is wrong. People did die. A lot of people did fucking die.
I was just gonna say, this is the truth, that COVID was bad for some people. COVID was very bad for some people, and those people were the ones who were at high risk, and those who had family members who were at high risk who passed away, and that's who it was difficult for. And how much of the population was that of the whole world? Not many. COVID affected most people, the grand majority of people, by the inconvenience of the worldwide lockdowns, mask mandates, vaccine mandates, vaccine passports, all that shit. Like, that's really how it affected the world. But then let's just say, the other like 8 to 10% of the world that was acutely affected by it, not even out of the 8 to 10% of the world that was acutely affected by it was killed by it. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about, like, I had to take care of my mom who was dying from COVID. That affected me. So those people really are the people who were affected by it. And the vast majority of the people weren't directly affected by it. They just were affected by how the government reacted to it. You know what I mean? So it definitely doesn't do as much damage as a fucking world war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, World War I think was way, like, I know the Spanish flu killed a lot of people, but a lot of people died in Europe during World War I. You know what I mean? And I think the numbers might be comparable.
World War I was 15 to 22 million.
And how many people died of the Spanish flu?
Jesus Christ. 50 million.
Not comparable, double. So the Spanish, so during World War I and the Spanish flu, which pretty much coincided, they like overlapped. That's 75 million people got killed.
Holy shit.
And who's to say that the events of World War I didn't expedite the Spanish flu? Because the Spanish flu sort of happened at the end of World War I to like 1919. I think 1919 was when it went global.
COVID estimated 1.2 million deaths.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Wild.
No, that's the United States. Hold on,
Oh.
that's not worldwide. Worldwide.
And those numbers are askew also because people were, like somebody dies of a heart attack and they said COVID on the death certificate. So
Yeah, and I can't find a total number.
that's because I think they can't get an honest total number.
9 to 14 million.
That doesn't even touch the Spanish flu. And our population is way bigger than it was 100 years ago.
And our way of handling viruses and plagues is way better. Anyway, back to no eyebrows.
When the shit went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, where you're like, oh, well, there you go.
And he did say something. And you know what? He's probably edible to something.
He's high, dude. He was still smoking back then.
I've thought about it. I thought a lot about it as a result. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Jesus Christ. Well, he tricked a lot of people. I know a lot of people that met that guy.
So that right there is the very reason why so many of these elites just love going on Joe's podcast. Because Joe's best friends with whoever's across the table with him that day. And he was probably so starstruck by Teal and his connections that he never even thought to second guess the guy on his relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. Now that
or he was just not surprised, or he's just not surprised.
Teal was a lot closer to Epstein than he led Joe on to believe. I mean, there's a bunch of back and forth emails between them about having dinners together in various places, and there's even one where Teal suggests meeting him on a quote-unquote island, which could very well be the island, if you know what I mean. There's of course nothing immediately acknowledging the crimes or anything, but I would venture to say that doing business with a convicted sex criminal for personal enrichment generally means you're a bad guy, not to mention being in regular communication with them. But of course, Rogan doesn't bother looking even further into any of that, which is why a lot of people criticize Joe as an interviewer. Like, the guy can't shut up about Epstein and all the stuff surrounding him, but as soon as he has someone on the show that's literally sat down and had one-on-one conversations with the guy, Joe immediately brushes over it and then switches the topic.
I know a lot of people that met that guy. He got a lot of celebrities to come to his house for parties and things.
Well, I think I think a lot of it was this strange commentary on, I know there was some secret club, secret society you could be part of.
Right.
And
of course.
Again, it wasn't explicit, but that was the vague vibe of the whole thing.
People love those stupid things. They love like exclusive clubs that very few people. Look at the fucking Soho House. Like, look at that stupid thing. I mean, you just go to a place that you have to be a member to go to, and everybody wants to be a member. Oh my God, gotta get it. And then you get like the Malibu Soho House. It's different from the other ones. You have to have membership only there.
And you see, Peter Thiel is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to JRE guests that have been involved with Epstein. Of course, there are the big ones like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but it actually goes way deeper than that. Like, believe it or not, Joe was literally platformed Epstein's personal chef, Adam Perry Lang, who worked for Epstein for
He owns a steakhouse in L.A. That's why Joe had him on.
And was hired by Epstein to cook for him.
But Joe didn't know that at the time. That's the thing. He didn't know that. It happened to be a steakhouse he liked in L.A., allegedly.
4 years straight back in the late 90s, flying with him on his private jet to cook for him at Epstein's various different properties, including the infamous Epstein Island. And this was all public information prior to that podcast. So it was pretty strange that Joe didn't bring that up once. There was even an article written about it. And of course, there could have been some kind of agreement that Joe signed to not mention it with him during the podcast, but nonetheless, it's all very fishy.
What's happening, brother? How are you?
Good to be here.
Good to have you. I have enjoyed your restaurant many times. This is my favorite steak restaurant in all of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
It's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you in here, because this is a really crazy time for restaurants. And I mean, that's basically... That's the gist of it. This is a crazy time.
It's bananas. It's absolutely crazy.
And then there's Dr. Peter Attia, who was apparently Epstein's private doctor and shared thousands of emails with Jeffrey, which of course are extremely twisted.
Yes.
But I'll touch on that later more in the video. Just know that as of right now, there are about 9 or 10 people who went on Joe's show that are named in the files, which is just a mind-boggling number of people. As weird as that may be though, there's not really one single answer to it that people can agree on. You know, some people theorize that Joe's been bought out and paid for by the upper crust of society, or even the CIA, and others think that it's merely a coincidence. No matter what you choose to believe in though, the one thing that's true here is that Joe gives the softest, most patty cake style of interviews to a select group of people, and a lot of those people were named in the Epstein list. And Donald Trump's a great example of this. Like during that Donald Trump interview, which now has over 61 million views on YouTube alone, Joe Rogan never even brought up Epstein or the suspiciousness surrounding Epstein's death, which is a topic that Joe's talked about on hundreds of other episodes before this one.
He could have signed an agreement to not have to sign bring
Like
up the Epstein thing.
Yeah, like this. Celebrities have that. Like, for example, like if there's a celebrity that's going through a breakup, like, and they're going on ABC, like they're going to Good Morning America, like they'll be like, their publicist will be like, hey, we need you to sign this, and you cannot mention or ask any questions about their relationship. Yeah. And that might be in a like a rider before they actually go out there.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're promoting a movie, it sort of makes sense that you don't want to take away from the, like, especially if you're promoting a Disney movie and you're going through a divorce, like, you don't want Disney doesn't want your divorce to get in the way of their movie promotion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can't control what they ask you. It's free speech. Shut up and answer the question.
No, I know it is, but
problem in the relationship.
No, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that it's not unheard of that an agreement would be done. Like, this is something that's been done in meeting forever. Not even NDA. It's just like an agreement that you won't ask a question.
Basically, just gave Trump the easiest interview of his life.
One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball. Like, you get out and you do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times where we did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like and you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts. Like when you said to Hillary, you'd be in jail. Like that's great timing. And
also, just a side note, that Trump was way different then. He got old fast.
Dude, he aged a lot. Like, there's, and I say this all the time, that he's not making it to like a third term, even if he wanted to, because he's just right now, you could see him putt-putting, like he's twilighting. So exactly what happened to Biden is sort of happening to him. He has
Biden
way more of
before he got elected, though.
Thank you. Yes, and this happened in the middle of this of this first year that he started to decline a little bit. Like a lot of people bringing up, they see the bruises on his arm, this, that, and the other. He says there's nothing wrong with him. He's falling asleep during things, and like he comes back pretty quickly from it, saying that it was fucking boring. You'd fall asleep too. So it's like, okay, granted. However, your job is to be at attention to all this at all times. You know what I mean? And so he's not making it, and then you get the conspiracy theories that, pretty much he picked JD Vance because JD Vance was already the pick. Do you understand what I'm saying?
JD Vance is buddies with Peter Thiel too. And Nick Fuentes redid that video where he puts it all together. He's like, they forced him to get Trump. They forced Trump to get JD Vance. To finance his fucking election. It was Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, which makes sense.
And I think
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business. This is a very
Yes.
dangerous business. First of all, it's a very tough business. When
It's the most dangerous
yeah, it's
business.
the most for a job.
Yes.
So the softball interview basically greenlit all of the
That
cronies
Cash
to go
Patel
on
interview
Joe's
was
show,
horrible.
as Joe's spine basically disappears whenever someone in the Trump administration appears on the show. Like a couple of short months after that Trump podcast, Joe had Cash Patel on, where he let Cash basically lie to his face and his millions of listeners about everything having to do with the Epstein files and Epstein's suspicious death.
Doesn't he live with another man? But he's
Cash
dating,
Patel?
yeah, but he's
He's
dating
got a
that,
girlfriend.
yeah, but he's dating that chick. But he lives
Right.
with a dude.
So and that chick is supposedly like an Israeli asset?
Yeah, something
She's
weird.
like a Mossad or some shit? That's what he said.
Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What
between
is he?
Elon
Have
and
a nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
Yeah.
How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, what did you think before you got in office? Did you think that Epstein was murdered?
No.
No suspicion at all of it?
There's just no way that you could have run an op and had people go into that cell and not have any video of it.
I don't like his answers, and I didn't during the podcast.
Right.
And here
Not during the that was the Senate when he was questioned by the Senate, right? Was that what that
here,
was?
he lives with a man.
Timeshare mogul. So lives with him. Like, so he can't afford his own home? Cash Patel?
I don't know. Just saying.
And this
Saying.
mogul can't afford his own home?
Just
Chooses
saying.
to. There are two men who can totally live on their own who don't.
I don't know.
People come out and say, hey, yeah, I saw that guy. He shouldn't have been there, the guard or this guy. There's just no access points into places like this in the detention center he was in, which I've been in.
And no, Cash Patel was not named in the files, but he's directly responsible for the delay of their release. And he literally lied under oath about their existence late last year, which is now making millions of people online call for his arrest.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
So Cash Patel is Trump's personal shoe shiner. And of course, he manipulated Joe into believing everything he said about the Epstein files and Epstein's death.
No,
No.
Joe recently is like, no, like, you know.
Like, hold on. Yeah, he's.
I think he patronized them in the interview.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but Joe doesn't believe for a second that none of these people had, you know, the Epstein traffic people. He doesn't believe that. He believes that
he makes the joke of traffic to who? Trafficking means traffic to who? Where are the, you know, and then someone said, well, that's the problem. To convict him, where's the person that, you know? And it's like, no, but we know it happened. We don't want it, they just won't say who because they know who it. They know if they tell us who the who is, there'll be problems.
Yeah, and I think that the who's that we do know are just easily forgettable. You know what I mean? In another 5 years, this is the thing. Can I just tell you about Prince Andrew? Prince Andrew has been in the tabloids since the fucking 90s. So he married Ferguson, Sarah Ferguson, right? and he cheated on her. Now this was the Prince Charles, King Charles now, but Prince Charles's brother at the time, who was having an affair with that. So everybody knew that he was a little bit of a pervert, right? So he's not alien to the controversy realm, right? So Prince Andrew is like easy fodder for this. Like he's like an easy person to throw out there and take the fall for this. There are probably other parties, and I'm going to say this. This is totally a radical idea. However, it's definitely plausible if you guys want to just think about it. That the reason why Trump is in so much of this and he came up so much is because the people that they don't want us to know about, that you're saying, Mike, that is going to be like, oh shit will hit the fan if these people, is because somebody who's an easy fall guy is a Prince Andrew. And I think before 2016, let's just say before 2015, Trump was an easy fall guy too. Because Trump as well wasn't alien to controversy and, like sexual misconduct and just being a womanizer. And, obviously like everybody knew that there was some sort of diddling going on if he was running beauty pageants. And, like they all just pretty much figured that Trump is just, like a dog. And
yeah.
And he might have been somebody who was easy to compromise for whatever information that Epstein could have gotten from him back then, because he had so many ties to politicians. Now, saying that, I don't think that these people in that side in power who are using Epstein as an asset thought Trump was going to be as big as he is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now all this stuff coming out about Trump is like, now I'm a big deal. You can't let this stuff out. And that's why since he has control over what information gets out, he's going to go and just delete that shit that his name is on after it's released. So how many people are out there who nobody's mentioning, right? That you're saying shit will hit the fan if we find out. Because it seems like everybody else is somebody who's expendable. Mm-hmm. Somebody who could take the fall easily, that nobody else on the higher echelon of power is going to get hurt. If Prince Andrew takes the fall, for example, and how many other Prince Andrews are there that we're talking about? And then it's like, well, if these guys get taken out, how much of a detriment is it to world politics? And it's not so much, but Trump might be. That's huge. Trump is probably the biggest name, because what does it do? Like, let's just say if right now, I think Bill and Hillary have to go up and be questioned, right?
They didn't show up, right? They didn't show up for the first one.
That was to the deposition, the subpoena to the deposition. Now they've been subpoenaed to be questioned, like by, like whatever, like Congress or Senate or whatever, and they're going to show up, right? So let's just say Bill and Hillary, because of all this, get taken down. It's like, what detriment is it to world politics? It's not, because they're not in power. It's the people who are in power who have more to lose. So it's like, obviously someone like Trump has more to lose, so he's going to take his name out of it. What names are being taken out of it? Besides like Peter Thiel, because Peter Thiel is like, okay, I don't think his name was supposed to get out. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Bill Gates' name wasn't supposed to get out. And I think only Bill Gates' name got out because he went through the divorce with Melinda. You understand? Because that shit was going to get out there anyway, because she was ready to blow up his whole shit. But she definitely signed NDAs. Because you see how she sort of pussyfoots around it. She says, well, I hope he understands he learned his lesson and blah, blah, blah. Pretty much insinuating that he did something wrong or bad, but not really saying what he did, because she can't legally say what he did or what she found out he did. Probably that STD shit. You know what I mean?
Joe into believing everything he said about the Epstein files and Epstein's death. And just to be clear, Patel isn't in the files, but this just shows you why a bunch of these fishy, mega rich guys feel safe going on to Joe's podcast. One guest that did entertain Joe's theories around Jeffrey Epstein's death, though, was none other than Barry Weiss, who is a New York Times opinion writer turned independent commentator and is married to a woman who was just named in the Epstein files, Nellie Bowles.
Wait, but she's CBS now.
Seemingly met up
This guy left out that she's at CBS now.
She's what?
He left out that she's with CBS now. That she's employed by Paramount.
What did he say? That she...
He stopped at she said she's independent. She's not independent anymore. She was with New York Times. And then...
Right, of CBS or something? Of the news
yes. So he left that out. That now she's, part of a powerful news organization. And her wife was... Oh, did you see Tim Dillon dressed up as Barry Weiss?
No.
You should pull that shit up. Pull that shit up. Just Google Tim Dillon cosplays as Barry Weiss on his podcast. I'm down to rewatch this again. It's like a 5-minute little introduction that he does for his last podcast.
I can't.
And he yeah, it's like Bari, like Bari or something like that.
Oh my. Oh my God.
I'm Barry Weiss. We started this podcast 9 years ago because a white woman in Minnesota served a chicken quesadilla to a man and was immediately accused of cultural appropriation. That man's name was George Floyd. After I was asked to leave the New York Times because I was too much of a rogue and a truth teller, I started the Free Press because I really wanted to encourage and foster open discussion and debate between people in New York, Miami, Tel Aviv. I am a huge supporter of freedom of speech. It's one of the things that I find most important. When David Ellison called me and said, "Would you like to run CBS News?" I had to think about it because I really enjoyed my blog, my 17 listeners, and this podcast. But I ultimately decided that $150 million was enough money to come into CBS News and turn it around. From the Free Press, this is honestly, and I'm Barry Weiss.
Tim Dillon's a legend, dude. He's a fucking legend.
Why hasn't he done Rogan again? Come on.
I'm waiting. Like Rogan's starting to cycle back to some people. Like he had Bert Kreischer on the other day. So he's cycling back to some of his old guests that I won't. There are like probably a dozen guests that no matter what, if they're on, I will listen to the whole JRE because because in the last, since me and you first started listening to Rogan fucking 15 years ago or whatever, like there's the guests that like they come on, you're going to want to listen. Like I'll listen every time Ari Shaffir's on. I'll get on and listen every time, every time he has Tim Dillon on, every time he has this person, mostly comedians, I'll definitely like, oh yeah, he's going back through. So Tim Dillon should be on pretty soon. He just hasn't been in Austin. I think he's in LA. Anyway, we're going to react to some videos.
Abi sakin ol bırak. Sakin ol. Geç. Sakin ol. Hayır. Kavga ediyorlar. Dehşet kavga var. Lan. Bırak. Hayır.
Don't get involved. You're a food delivery driver.
Fuck that, dude. Food. That midair kick, both of them jumping and kicking at the same time, was pretty epic, dude.
Deliver the fucking food. I'm hungry. I'm waiting for that shit.
But that POV, though, POV is sick, bro. That guy drove by at the right time for a fucking midair Spartan kick to the chest. That was sick.
Why is the screen wrong? Something's wrong here. It doesn't match right. I have to adjust this. Hold on. How do I move? No. How do I do the size again? No.
You're too big, Mike. You get too big, Mike. Oh, you're trying to fit the video to like so that we overlap the.
No, that's not what I want to do with that.
I feel like Restream sort of updated a little bit. No, you got to go the other way.
No, because if I go this way, it cuts it off.
Oh, fuck that.
So I'm saying Restream did some updating or something because that's way too much. Like now I got to do this to do it. Which
that's not bad though.
But it's different from what it used to be, which is
it is very different.
Because then all my presets of my editing program I got to redo. Anyway, what's this? Is this in his backyard? Is this in his? Jesus!
Howitzer in his backyard.
Where'd it hit? Did it hit yet?
Wait.
No. Trying to do that? Okay, I barely heard you. Did they mean to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, listen, dude, they're up in the mountains. These people know the snow. They know that they're going to start. Listen, this isn't the first time that guy shot that howitzer at the mountain. Let's be honest. Wow. There's probably a couple of shells embedded in the rock up there. Now, what would suck is if you were just like an alpine skier, you know what I mean, and you were up there,
hanging
out, and you're just like, boom, and now you're riding a snow wave, bro. And the thing is, like, I think that the avalanche may not fuck with them so much because that is, that's far away, bro. Mm-hmm. That is like they shot that thing like almost I don't know how many, but like 10 miles away. Oh yeah, I remember sending this to you.
Is this Florida? Is it
one would assume. Actually, I don't see no palm trees, so probably not.
One red light, one bucket truck, zero protection. Watch this.
I haven't sent you a construction fail in a while, so.
What?
A little foreshadowing. Now this guy's waving at something. They're waving at somebody. Uh-oh.
That was...
Bro. Now, the importance of the safety harness.
Yeah, but that was a hard hit. Damn.
That guy just went to lower him quick. That guy got clobbered by a fucking truck.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. Oh.
Well, why that truck followed through is beyond me. You know? I think that truck should have fucking broke and let that guy fucking, like retract his bucket.
Did you see this? See, now it's back to the other way, so I could do this again.
Yes. So, all right. Can I say this? I know nobody watched the Grammys, but I did watch the Grammys, and I did actually watch this moment just because I was waiting for the Ozzy tribute. And I think that there's a little bit of backlash from the actual, First Nations people from Los Angeles.
We will get there. I have another video, but
don't feel like I need to say anything, but that
if you don't think you need to say anything, shut the fuck up and don't say anything. I'm just sick and tired of the celebrities saying, like, no one gives a shit. Shut the fuck up, take the award, sit down, shut up.
Or if you're going to virtue signal, at least do it in detail of who you're virtual signaling for.
Exactly.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
And that's what's her face. Another fucking idiot.
Christina Carpenter?
And they're all like, you're right.
Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina. I keep fucking her name up.
And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And I say sorry.
Fuck guys.
Don't feel like I need to say anything, but
yeah, okay. Great. Stolen land.
We are here because this is stolen land, Billie, and we think we should be given access to your quite lovely $3 million mansion.
So it turns
Hello,
out
Billie from The Late Show Live on GB News. Do you remember when Billie Eilish said
on
this at the Grammys?
No one is illegal on stolen land. Nice is all I want to say, sorry.
Well, Billie reckons there's no such thing as an illegal human because we're all on stolen land. So we're here in Billie's quite posh neighbourhood in Los Angeles. Let's go and see if she practices what she preaches. Hopefully, if she sticks by her merits, she'll have no problem with me waltzing in, maybe making a cup of coffee or a tea. $3 million home. She's got some paddocks out the back with stables and horses. Maybe we can go for a horse ride. I'm sure she'd have no problem with it because she stood up on the stage at the Grammys, tens of thousands of people watching in the audience, millions around the world. The clip's gone viral. Here we go. Oh, nice little place. Bins are out. It's bin collection day. First of all, isn't that ironic? Massive gates keeping people out. I thought Billie didn't believe in borders. Well, according to the driveway, Billie does believe in borders. She believes in massive gates keeping people out. A couple of cameras up there as well. The lights are on, so somebody must be home. Let us in, please, Billie. We are here because this is stolen land, Billie, and we think we should be given access to your quite lovely $3 million mansion. And such is Billie's concern for security and privacy. It's surrounded by pretty decent security fencing. Very nice indeed. Massive security hedges as well. She's taken a lot of concern and time to make sure she's got some privacy, as you'd expect. Oh, there we go. At the $3 million Los Angeles pad of Billie Eilish, she...
Hypocrite. Hypocrite. Their virtual virtue signal. I can't talk right now. I'm so fucking high.
Look at her. Oh my goodness.
Is that a
yeah, it's a delivery robot. Yeah. He's trying to throw it over the bridge.
Why?
Just cause.
Look at that. It's crazy.
Right there. Why can't you be normal, bro?
This guy tried to. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Guy was gonna break a hernia trying to throw that thing over.
Shit, I gotta restart this.
Another one.
Yep.
Cold snaps got them dropping like fruit.
They bounce pretty good.
They do.
So, you guys have been getting a cold snap up by you. It got cold down here, right? There's a bunch of fucking alligators half sticking out of the fucking water down here trying to keep warm. And I just moved. So I have a new neighbor who had been collecting the iguanas that have been falling out of trees in the neighborhood and warming them up in his garage. And these blue animals also. So not just, but there's more than just the iguanas. But yes, they do fall out of trees. Yes, they are paralyzed in the cold. And apparently there's a bunch of Floridians who've been gathering them up and just like cooking them up.
Wow.
Making iguana tacos, iguana pizza.
Wow.
Downtown, walking fast, faces passing homebound.
She came into that turn too hot.
You know what the sad part is? Sometimes I go shopping, I hit the vape, and if I'm hitting the vape and I'm shopping and I'm high now and I'm shopping and that happens, I'm gonna burst out laughing.
I'm gonna die. I would just die of laughter. Yeah.
Situation, I am going to die laughing. What the?
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
What stopped her? Where did she stop? How far down did she keep going? Or wait, no, she stops, right? But
it's a police robot?
It's a security robot, I think.
Security?
I think so.
Passing. Leave the premises immediately.
I just sat down. I just sit here for a minute. I'm tired. Just taking a break.
You are trespassing. Leave the premises immediately.
Robots aren't there yet.
The robot knows he's there. The robot knows he's there.
You are trespassing.
Yo, so all right, it's because the thing is, I knew that they had the delivery robots, but until I saw that video, I had absolutely no idea that they were trying to use them for security. You know what I mean? At least in the States.
It's unless they have weapons, and that's even more crazy. It's not going to work. Like she sees it happening and she's like, wait. No.
You think she would have put a bra on before doing that?
Wow.
Yo, it's funny how that kid couldn't have been more than fucking 2.5 years old and made it to the fucking pedal. So that's impressive. Yep. How did that kid turn that shit on though?
It might have already been on, and she had to turn it off, and the kid sat down, and I don't know. I do know.
Pretty tired of these sommeliers taking over this damn neighborhood.
A red, sir. It's alive.
No.
It breathes. Cabernet Sauvignon.
No. Please, it's in my face. Please stop.
Sir, I must insist that you try some of this. Just get it up in your nose.
These guys
okay? It's some Merlot. Get it in your nose. Okay. Sir, I think you really must insist on trying it.
I'm getting pretty tired of these.
These fucking sommeliers are just taking over the neighborhood. These sommeliers.
Oh my god. Where'd it go? Okay. This does officially win the game. It wins the game.
I think I'm getting rid of my iPhone. I'm gonna get rid of my iPhone.
Game changer. All right, so this one.
I've been packing cones on the wrong surface.
Remember, Cavity Sam from the board game operation is likely alive in the Toy Story universe and lives a life of never-ending suffering. Until we meet again. Remember.
That is dark, bro.
He's just constantly in a state of surgery, and if he's awake, like his body's like just open. That would be crazy. There is a new Toy Story movie coming out, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
and he's the star. No, I'm kidding. Dude, okay, here we go.
Hey!
Not supposed to touch the guy.
Hey, dude, hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hey, man. Hold on. Hey!
You got stuffed by a tree, bro. He hit him hard.
Hey, dude, hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hey, man. Hold on. Hey!
I would have been like, "Hey, I thought you were a bush." I thought I was just rustling the bush. I didn't know you were a person in there. Plausible deniability.
And instead of ending on our normal song, I'm going to end on a video.
Let's go.
Back to basics, baby. You already know, baby. Poo poo bum bum, stinky stinky poo poo bum bum. Hey, stinky poo poo bum bum. Poopy 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 bum bum. Poo bum poo bum poo bum poo bum poo bum poo bum. Poo 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 bum 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 poo bum. Men are pooping every day. Men are pooping in every way. Men are pooping on the toilet. Men are pooping not on the toilet. When I'm on the toilet, men are pooping on the toilet. Stinky, stinky, stinky poopy. Stinky, stinky, stinky poopy. Poopy, poopy. Poo 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 bum 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 poopy bum 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 poopy poopy bum 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 poopy bum 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 bum.
And that's our moment of Zen. All right, another one of the books. We're back every Wednesday at 9:30. Dumbfounded Dipshits. I think we got an episode queued for next week, and then I'm going away for a week. I'm going to be gone. So we're going to be taking a week off, and then I'll be back the week after that. But next week, 9:30, Dumbfounded Dipshits, Season 5, Episode 2.
I gotta change the background. It still says next Sunday. Next Wednesday.
Should be next Wednesday. It's Wednesday, people. If you're still watching, it's Wednesday. I promise you. All right, Mike. Good to see you.
You too, bro.
Good. You have a good night. Peace out, dipshits.